Hello. Happy Hump Day. Hump Day happy hour. Let's talk with it.
The very first one.
The very first one.
Entertain.
Regularly.
Do you want a pre-funk? Pretty good.
I'm gonna wait only because these margs are insanely good and so much preparation already has gone into them, which Phil will explain. But yeah, so we are doing Instagram Live. Hello. Hello. Hey. Hi, Ashley. Yay. Hi, Brenda. Victoria. Hi. Thank you for joining us. We're doing it live on Instagram. We're also doing it live on YouTube. I don't know, is it on Facebook?
Yeah, Facebook, YouTube, and it's
kind of live all over, which is great. But as you know, Instagram only holds the live videos for 24 hours, and YouTube, it turns into an episode. So you can always come back and check out the recipe and follow along after prepping, because Phil will explain all the prepping that went into this. There's a lot of prepping. And you know what, Brenda, you would know, Brenda and Ashley, you would know because of our lake life family trip, all the preparation he takes into this.
Yeah. Oh, so by the way, we've got a pretty sweet setup for YouTube and Facebook with live streaming simultaneous from the iPad.
Yeah.
It's landscape. We've got the super widescreen lens on there and lots of cool overlays. We can't really do that with Instagram because they're just so locked down on their little API. It's kind of annoying. Right. But also we have a really good microphone on YouTube and Facebook, although I don't know how great it sounds because we can't really hear it. But we're just working off the phone for Instagram. So if you have any trouble hearing, feel free to jump over to Facebook or YouTube instead.
Yeah, Mr. Equipment, Mr. Technical. But it's a really beautiful picture here. You can see our entire kitchen. It's just a lot more to see than just our faces right here.
Yeah. So we'll talk about this multiple times.
Ashley, go to YouTube. That's our suggestion.
Yeah, give it a try. Give it a try.
Yeah. Hi, Lacey, Mize. Thanks for joining. We've had this marg before.
But never quite like this.
Never quite like this because always improving, always be changing.
This is going to be the absolute ridiculous, what's Tyler Florence's thing? Ultimate. The ultimate. And we should keep repeating what we're going to make today. So it is a roasted Georgia peach. I don't know if it's really Georgia. They're from the grocery store, but it sounds better when you say Georgia peach.
It does.
Roasted Georgia peach and habanero mezcal marg.
And you have ways to make it not spicy too, right?
Yeah, that's easy.
Yeah.
Just take off the habanero.
Not everybody likes the spice.
Yeah, you're in charge of communication, okay?
I'm trying to read everybody. Hello.
I'm pre-funking a little bit right here, mostly just because I want something cold to drink. I don't actually need the booze, but our air conditioner broke today, and we couldn't have all the windows open because the traffic and everything is too loud around here, so we wouldn't be able to hear us.
And this little girl has a big problem with windows and doors open. She seems calm because I'm holding her, but that makes me even hotter, so.
Yes, very unusual.
Do need
She's
to
crazy.
Cool down.
All right. Yeah. So by the way, just in case you think about not staying until the end, you won't get to see what this little contraption is for. It plays a pretty key role.
Super fun.
Okay. And no, we don't smoke weed anymore. So
I don't know if I ever smoked weed.
no, it was edibles. But yeah, I'm going to sit this off to the side because it's pretty big. But this will be the exciting grand finale. So you've got to stick around just for that. Oh, by the way, I don't know if they could even see it on Instagram.
Yes, we have a drink grand finale.
Yeah, this is, like we said, it's over the top. We're going to talk about two different ways to make it today. Because one of them I started prepping for this last night. How long did we spend on this? At least an hour last night prepping for this cocktail. So obviously it's very involved if you do it the official way.
Yeah.
But of course, we're going to provide shortcuts so you can do it on the super quick, right after getting home from work or something.
But before we get started, that reminds me, we're always making improvements to the website. You just made a new improvement. We have a subscribe button on the website so we can follow up with recipes. So if you go to followabc.com, subscribe.
Click subscribe at the top, or if you're on mobile, you'd probably click the little hamburger menu, and then it'll pop down and say subscribe. Just put your info in there. And then what we'll do after this is send out an email that has the recipe in it. So you don't have to worry about writing any of this stuff down.
Perfect. And if you make these drinks, make sure to hashtag Lockwood Effect.
Hashtag Lockwood Effect. See, we have, you see it on YouTube and Facebook. We actually have our own little Lockwood Effect hashtag logo now. So pretty official.
And Lockwood Effect came from one of my closest friends, Dana, because this guy kept making drinks for our friends, and they would just get so drunk because his cocktails are delicious. Uh-oh. We might have lost our Instagram. Poor connection.
Yeah.
It's connecting. There we go. So Lockwood Effect really means a very strong drink that tastes amazing. So you ever have a cocktail like that? Hashtag Lockwood Effect. Hashtag these drinks Lockwood Effect, because they have a Lockwood Effect.
It's already getting warm in here.
Are you getting hot?
Yeah.
Have another sip.
50 degrees, yeah.
Have another sip.
Well, let's get started because there's actually quite a bit to this one, and we can keep chatting in between, okay?
Of course.
But once again, in case you're just joining, it is the roasted Georgia peach and habanero mezcal marg. Let's talk about that mezcal thing real quick. So it's a margarita, pretty much.
Smoky.
Yeah.
Yeah, smoky for sure. But anyways.
So instead of tequila, we're going to use mezcal, also a Mexican spirit derived from the agave plant, but tastes substantially different. And we've had mezcal off and on, and restaurants, a lot of times, Mexican restaurants will have mezcal drinks, which you always really like.
I know, but usually they're the floaters, right? I think at Bobby Flay, you get a margarita and it's with tequila, but a mezcal floater. Is that right?
Yeah, but I think you also like the mezcal, like a smoky something at North County.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
So both of these come from the agave plant. They're made in Mexico, so they take the agave plant, which looks kind of like a big aloe plant. They chop off all those big leaves, and what you're left with is the bulb. It's like huge, and it's called the piña, and it looks kind of like a pineapple, so it makes sense. From there, things get a little bit different. Like with tequila, they actually would steam the piña in like an industrial size metal casket or something, right? And with mezcal, they actually put it in earthen pots with wood and charcoal. And this is where you end up getting a lot of that really smoky taste. So it's extremely smoky.
Whole process.
Totally changes the dynamic of your cocktail. And it was just a couple of months ago that we did this with mezcal here. And we're like, we're not going to drink tequila in our margs anymore because mezcal just adds such an incredible dynamic, a layer above.
Well, and it makes sense. All that hard work that goes into making it, it's a bit more expensive than tequila. Yeah, that might be the one downside to it, is the price.
Yeah, and also tequila, like no matter how you make it, tequila is kind of like champagne, and it actually has to be certified as produced in the tequila region of Mexico. It's like around Guadalajara. So you can't even make tequila in the United States, just like you can't make champagne in the United States. Yeah, it's impossible. So anyway, so let's talk about how we're gonna make this. First of all, the components. With any margarita, you need fresh lime juice. If you're going out and buying Rose's sweetened lime juice or any sweetened lime juice for that matter, missing the boat. All right, you got to do fresh squeezed lime juice. It's not sweetened. This is nothing but squeezed limes. Okay. And
you can make it ahead of time, right? Like we do.
This was 2 bags of limes. Last night I used our really cool kind of thing. Saves you
AKA juicer.
And the other thing, besides like tequila or mezcal that you're going to have in a marg, of course, would be some sort of a sweetener. And usually that would be simple syrup. And simple syrup, we've talked about this before, it's like super simple to make. It's equal parts white sugar and water, and you just bring it to a boil, and holy crap, it's hot in here. I'm pretty sure it's already like 85 degrees. And you just bring it to a boil, and that completely like clarifies, melts, dissolves the sugar, and then you just turn it off. But here's where things get really cool. What you can do with these is infuse it with almost anything. And it's so easy to get fancy.
And this is where the spice comes in. So if you don't like it spicy, infuse it with what, basil?
Well, actually,
you're really good with this.
I did infuse the simple syrup with basil yesterday.
Yum.
So we've got our own basil outside. I brought in a bunch of that, threw it in there, and then you just let it steep, just like tea. Right after you bring it to a boil, throw that in there. You can put rosemary in there instead. Don't do all these things at once. Of course, we do jalapeno. You could do habanero.
Don't do the hashtag if you do.
like, it's such an easy way to get creative. Look around the house. I mean, you could infuse it with anything that you've got in your refrigerator. You could do garlic or horseradish or fig or anything, you know, where you want to infuse just to get a certain kind of flavor. And I think, especially with the savories, right? Like,
yeah, those are my
greens,
favorites.
herbs, and stuff. That's super easy to do. So,
and that's how you get the Lockwood effect, because that's how it sneaks up on you. That flavor profile makes it so delicious, and it complements the alcohol so well. It goes down like water.
Can I take my shirt off?
Yeah, I don't think anybody would mind. I don't care.
Okay, so anyway, if we were making a margarita, we would probably want to do some sort of a sweetener, which would be simple syrup, or sometimes you can just use like agave syrup. That's really good because it's made from the same thing that your tequila or your mezcal is made from. Sometimes you could use sweetened lime juice. That's just not the way to go. So I think, as a general rule, somewhere in the neighborhood of equal parts fresh lime juice to simple syrup. But we're kicking it up like 8 notches today in so many ways.
8 Schoolvilles.
This is half simple syrup and half homemade peach nectar with habanero. All right, so that's what we're going to talk about today.
Now, we were having a hard time breathing last night when he was making the habanero, because it was like, in fact, inhaling habanero.
Yeah.
Guess we're doing a little demo.
Whew. It's hot. Yeah. So let's talk about how to make this. And we're going to teach you the way that we did it, which took an hour, and the way that you can do it if you just want to. Yeah, your battery's going to die on Instagram, isn't it?
No, it's not the battery. It's the timing. He did say my battery's going to die. So if that happens, you know why. You know whose fault it was.
I'm going to drag it out.
Who's right? Who's wrong?
Right.
Oh, get out of here. Go on with the drinks.
All right. So, by the way, to get the peach nectar so that you can actually have a peach margarita, you could just buy peach nectar. This is not it. You want to fix that?
I do.
This is not it, but this is one brand where you can find it. So you might recognize this from the store. There are several brands. They're just in cans, usually in the juice section. They're just nectar. So this one's mango because we couldn't find peach, but you can find peach in most grocery stores. And then you can skip this entire step, and you would just mix that peach nectar with a homemade simple syrup, which again, super easy. The simple syrup is just put a cup of sugar in there and a cup of water in there, bring it to a boil, let it steep, let it cool, and then that's your sweetener. Okay?
It's so easy. I could do it, but of course I don't.
So,
because he doesn't.
But here's what we did. We took a bunch of peaches, okay, peach, and on the bottom, we're going to score a cross. And all those home cooks and chefs out there know exactly what I'm talking about, because you guys are probably making stuff like this all the time. And then we're going to throw this in boiling water for 1 minute. So we're not trying to cook the peach, we're just trying to cook that skin so that it peels off easily.
Blanching it.
So I'm going to throw it, yeah, exactly. We're going to throw it in there for 1 minute, and then we're going to take it out of that water and immediately throw it into an ice bath. And if you don't know, ice bath is just a bowl of ice water. Put it in there, stops the cooking process because we don't want to cook it. And then that cross that we made is going to make it really easy, if we actually cooked this, but I didn't, to just peel from those corners. Okay? To just peel it away. So you peel all those corners off, you take off the peel, and the reason for that is that's not going to help us in our puree. We don't want the skin, it's going to make it really gross. All right, next thing we're going to do then is take those peaches, and I just cut them up into relatively big chunks. You could do cubes, whatever you want to. We're going to do that, and then we throw it in our pan. We're going to do a dry pan, okay, nice and hot, yeah. And we're going to throw some of our chopped up habanero. It's a very hot pepper. This, unlike jalapeno, which, you know, you smell and it just kind of smells like a pepper. This one, it smells like ouch. You know? Like ouch.
Like it hurts?
Yeah, like it's gonna hurt.
It has like a little bit
it's
more.
It's smoky. You can tell it's hot. So, you know, we'll throw those in there, and then I'm actually gonna let this go. So, I got you. We'll let that go for a little bit, and then we'll talk about what we're gonna do here. The battery.
It's not the battery.
No, well, whatever. It should be plugged in or something, huh?
Yeah, I'm gonna wave at some people.
We'll have to do that next time.
Okay. It knows we're interacting.
All right. So while you're talking about that, let me grab something.
There we go.
You guys know what this is? Tell you a little bit.
I know. I think I know. I should know. I'm supposed to know.
what we're trying to do, we're roasting in a certain way, in a certain sense. We're roasting the habaneros, we're roasting the peaches. And the only reason for this is because we want to get some char flavor, the caramelization. So we want to get some black to develop on the pepper and on the peach.
That char.
That's going to give us some more smoky flavor that's really going to complement the smokiness that we get from the mezcal.
We're going to get 3 different smokes.
Spoiler alert.
Gave it away.
So we'll let these cook for a little bit, and I want to just kind of give you an example of what kind of caramelization or roastedness we're looking for on these items. While those are cooking, what we would typically do then is let them cool a little bit, but then we're going to put them into our blender. And so the peaches and the habanero, put them in here, maybe add just a little bit of water, usually like a couple of tablespoons or so, and then blend it up. We want to puree it, and then we get out our handy dandy sieves. What are they? Sieves. Mesh sieves. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Tomato.
We tried to do this at my brother's house
yeah.
and Kate's house.
Actually, you
and
probably
they
remember
didn't have these. Yeah. And so we tried like colanders and all these other weird things, and it doesn't even come close to working. You've got to have that fine mesh.
Didn't we land on a tomato masher or something? That one you crank. It's
Kate
like way old school.
I don't even think it was a potato masher because it was a stream like this. That actually ended up working perfectly.
It was a crazy old contraption.
So after you blend it, we just want to run it through that because we really want it to be as liquidy as possible. And what we end up with, well, basically this. What I've done here is I mixed my basil-infused simple syrup with our roasted peach and habanero nectar. All right? So that's what it ends up looking like. You see that dark color? It would be very orange, very light if we had just done it with regular peach nectar. All of this darkness that makes it brown instead of orange actually comes from the amount of blackness that we got when we roasted this stuff. Yeah. Coming along. All right, so I'll show you one at a time. See that?
The smell, yes.
We want to get that kind of all around. Now, that doesn't mean we want it completely brown. We don't. It should be like maybe 50% brown like that, and then 50% orange still. You dump these out. Ooh, that's even hotter in here. Okay, now here's where you've got the shortcut. So again, what we could have done, make some simple syrup. By the way, you can buy simple syrup. Most grocery stores have it when they have like the little cocktail mixer section.
Yeah, but it's not the same. And it's so easy. Just do it at home. And then put it in, like we have put it in a bottle.
But it is time consuming. Yeah. It's easy, but time consuming.
Well, I mean, it takes time from step A to, finish completion step B because it's really just 2 steps. But you don't have to watch it. You don't have to sit over it. So it doesn't take that much time, I guess. And twofer, watch this. Hang on. Okay.
Entertain.
I can't wait. Entertain. So I don't know. I'd love to know.
Okay, I'm back. You can stop.
Love to know though if you guys are going to be making these yourselves. If you're going to do the habanero or habanero, or if you're going to do a tame version with like a basil simple syrup. Yes.
You can do jalapeno if you don't want habanero. Habanero is somewhat hot, although if you haven't seen, if you don't follow our son's YouTube channel, is that where we have the pepper stuff? No, that's on ours.
That's on ours. The whole family does Carolina Reaper Death Nut Challenge.
Yeah, the Death Nut Challenge. If you go to our YouTube channel, which you can access at followabc.com, which is on the corner of the screen on YouTube and Facebook, you can actually see our Death Nut video, and we talk about Colt's pepper challenges, which actually started with Grandma Lockwood out here in Denver, and it was a jalapeno, and he worked his way up, and you pass habanero so quickly because habanero, even though it's an extremely hot pepper, is nothing compared to some of the other stuff we worked our way up to. It'd be jalapeno down here, habanero, and then we're talking like Trinidad scorpions and dragons of wrath, all the way up there with the Carolina Reaper. Yeah. Okay, so check this out. Here's one of the nice side effects. If you make your own peach nectar the way we did with the habanero, this was what was left over. I didn't need it all, so I threw it in a Ziploc bag and put it in the freezer. This is awesome now to like thaw and then use it as a marinade for some shrimp. Peach habanero shrimp. Marinate it, baste it, put it on the grill like that, and then do that with your margarita. Holy moly.
Holy moly. You're going to be on fire for sure. That'd be a good. I bet that does feel good.
It feels amazing. It's not even bad.
Oh, Libby. And make a good like Jamaican flavors with it.
Yeah, well, you probably want to add a lot of other stuff to it for that, but yes, absolutely. Okay. So again,
because my battery is gonna die. 10%.
Sorry, Instagrammers. If you want, switch over to Facebook or to YouTube. That's where it's going to be recorded anyway. All right. So again, we made our own simple syrup, but you could easily buy simple syrup. It wouldn't be infused necessarily, although I think they sell infused simples as well. And then we made our own peach nectar to go with that. But you can easily buy peach nectar at most grocery stores in a can. Yeah. You're just not going to get the depth of flavor, and I'm not sure how you would actually get the smokiness. So if that's important to you, then you probably want to go homemade. So as a general rule, we don't need this peach component at all. That's just so we can get the fruitiness and the pepper. So what we did then is we combined.
Flavor profile.
Yeah, we combined those two things, simple syrup and our peach nectar, basically 50-50 in here, because those are both sweet. Even though it's spicy with the habanero in there, that's still a sweet component. Yeah. So we don't double up. We just say, this is our sweet, this is our acid or our sour. So that's the fresh lime juice, fresh squeezed. And then we have our other main components. So should we start putting this together?
Let's do it.
Right,
are you ready for glasses?
No.
Oh, whoa.
No.
Sorry.
We might be.
Slow down.
All right, let's make sure we got everything ready to go. I don't usually like to measure drinks, except for I have one measurement. It's the Lockwood effect measurement, which is.
Just keep going.
Like. Good guess. I was thinking more like.
It's the half, right?
If you go to most places and ask for a cocktail, they use one of these little shot things. Let's call it this one. And they might give you a pretty tall glass. And then they're going to be like, oh, okay, pour your vodka in there, the ice. And then they fill it up with cranberry juice or club soda or anything else. Like that's all you get. But our magic ratio on almost every mixed cocktail